Hi, I'm Marie Cook, coming to you from Orlando, Florida. Thanks for joining me these next few minutes as we talk about bridging the gap can be fun and not so scary. It wasn't that long ago that, to be honest, it was a little bit intimidating and scary for me to think about reaching out to folks with disabilities. And that was just because I just had never really taken time to connect with this community. And even though I had been in youth ministry for 10 years and I'm serving on several church staffs, and very comfortable with interacting with all types of people, I just had never put myself out there to be intentional to reach out. But that all changed 16 years ago when God brought a little blessing into our life named Nathaniel, who was born with multiple special needs. And he suddenly thrust us into the whole world of disability. And to be honest, we didn't want to initially be there and didn't really understand the community. But after fighting for his life for 4.5 years, we became very ingrained in this community. And after 4.5 years, when he had his change of address and went to heaven, we knew that it was a community that we couldn't leave, but we had an opportunity and the blessing to stay engaged with. And so we started Nathaniel's Hope, an organization that reaches out to kids with special needs and their families. And our goal is to cheer on families that have all kinds of special needs, but also to educate and equip the Christian community, particularly the local church, with tools and opportunities and training to connect with this community. So for the next few minutes, I want to talk to you about some of the ways that we have found have been some ways that we found to be effective in reaching out and bridging the gap with people with disabilities. When we look at the Bible, we see that Jesus, when we see how he bridged the gap with people, it wasn't necessarily with programs, although programs are good, and we have programs because they bring systems and organization to us. His ability to bridge the gap was by building relationships. So as we think about bridging the gap, the first thing I'd like to suggest that we do is something so basic, and that's acknowledging the presence of people with disabilities by just saying hello when we see them in our congregations or the grocery store or down the street. So many times we don't know what to say or what to do, so we kind of go along our own way and assume that somebody else is building that bridge. But it all starts with saying hello, and as leaders, we need to lead the way in our churches and begin to reach out. And as we begin to offer friendship and connection, we'll be able to tap in and learn what some of the needs that families impacted by disability might have, and begin to find creative ways to reach and to meet their needs. Secondly, I found that though I may say that go ahead and build a relationship, that might still be difficult for some people to do. And so we have found that creating just fun events that give people an excuse to connect and a reason to connect and get out of their comfort zone has been very, very effective. In fact, one event that we have created in Orlando is a festival called Make 'em Smile, and that was started because our little boy Nathaniel, his birthday was June 6th, and since we could no longer have a birthday party for him after his passing, we created this event to celebrate kids with all types of disabilities. And Make 'em Smile actually is pretty much a pro-life event that the community comes out and says this is a day that we want to elevate and honor you and cheer you on, and say that this community cares about you and recognizes the purposes that God has created for your life. So Make 'em Smile is a festival celebrating kids with all types of special needs, who we, by the way, call VIPs, because I hate the term disabled and handicapped, because they're kids before they are any type of disability. So every year, our Make 'em Smile festival, we have a friendship stroll where we partner up families that have VIP kids with families that don't, or individuals that don't. And we have an intentional matchup system where we'll pull them together, and as they are matched together, we send them around the center of Orlando called Lake Yola. And while they walk around the lake, there's about 150 activities for them to share together, to begin to give them activity together and reasons to connect together. And we find that oftentimes after this event that relationships continue on because they realize that families impacted by disability are families just like them. They still have the need for love. Their kids still want to play. They still are families just like any other family. And so we begin to tear down the barriers as we build this bridge. So I encourage you to think about perhaps hosting a festival that would celebrate kids with special needs. And it doesn't have to be to the elaboration that we do. This last year we had over 15,000 people at our event, including over 2,000 VIP kids. But it could be as few as a handful of kids, or in your community or in your churches, and just setting up a time of a special event to have together. We invite the community and different companies from the community to participate with us, and offer whatever they can to make it a special day. In a few moments, I'm going to show you just a little peek about that, and maybe that'll spur on your creative energy to think about things that you can do.
Surface, I'm just another face, trying to make it, trying to find my place. If you look deeper, here on the inside, there's something bigger than meets the eye. I'm living for something, not here for nothing. I'm here to make a change. There is a reason, as long as I'm breathing, I will live for another day to shine. Spinning in circles, standing up and falling down. I'm finally learning that's what life's about. Still, I'm not perfect. You know I'll never be. My only purpose is giving God the best of me. I'm living for something, not here for nothing. I'm here to make a change. There is a reason, as long as I'm breathing, I will live for another day to shine.
But one of the greatest takeaways that happen is that people walk away realizing that people that have kids with special needs are like any other family. They still have the same need, the need to be loved, the need to have friends, the need for Christ in their lives. And so we tear down barriers by creating an event that puts these people together intentionally. And we are so overjoyed to find out that so many of these relationships continue beyond our event and in throughout the year, as people have been able to make that connection point, even for a few hours on a Saturday. So consider hosting some kind of event that may put together families, that may honor families that have kids with special needs. And we're not trying to patronize or to say to look down on any way, but we're there to celebrate their lives and want to give opportunities and provide fun experiences and make it all about them for a day. And after this video, we'll have an opportunity for you to see a link of this event, and maybe that will give you some ideas of what you might enjoy. But it doesn't have to be a big elaborate festival. It could be an event as simple as this some dear friends of ours from Access Life Ministry host events called Fishing and Friends, where they engage people with disabilities with others from the community who we both call buddies to engage in friendship for a few hours and do fishing together and water activities. And what a great time to do that. I know others have had events called Joy Prom, where it's a prom put on for to honor folks with special needs. And it's again, the event is a fun event, and it's an event that everybody enjoys, and it makes it special for our VIP friends. But more importantly, it's creating relationships as it gives opportunities for a lot of people from the community to come together and to build relationship and have fun and friendship and fellowship together. So think about hosting something that might be fun to do. Now, on the other side, you have the fun events that can be out there that can be seasonal throughout the year, or special targeted events. But also, you might want to consider thinking about meeting practical needs of people. One of the things that we do that we feel real strongly about is teaching churches how to provide free respite care, which is really a parents' day out program. For those of you who don't understand what respite might be, respite just means giving somebody a break. And in this case, it's caring for their child for a few hours to give the caregivers a break. But in doing so, it's a twofold blessing, meeting a need for the parents who oftentimes don't have the finances to go out and hire the appropriate child care, or even be able to find somebody who is willing to be with their child that might have some special needs. On the other side of it, it gives people from the community and from your churches an opportunity to engage in relationship with those impacted by disability. And we have trained people to be buddies at this Buddy Break program, people that are top level executives to senior citizens to moms and dads to teachers to medical personnel to high schoolers, children, families, you name it. It's not confined to any one population, but it's giving people an opportunity to engage in friendship for a few hours with a child that has special needs, and gives them a reason to engage and a reason to reach out. And I tell you, as those relationships are formed, it's life-changing. Not so much for the kids, although it's a blessing for the kids that come, the VIP kids that come, but it's life-changing for the buddies who come and serve. And through that can becomes a catalyst to begin to open up the door to more intentional ministry in your church. So consider hosting, consider reaching out with a respite program. You can do oftentimes, potlucks in your churches, or have other kind of events that might be great for a lot of your families in church. But for a family impacted by special needs, a parents' night out program could be the greatest blessing that you could imagine. At Christmas time, we host an event called Caroling for Kids. And again, very simple. We go into hospitals on Christmas Day, children's hospitals, to remember and encourage those that might be stuck in a hospital on Christmas Day. So that, as our family was over 13 years ago, or actually it was longer than that, I lose track of time, but about 15 years ago, our son spent his first Christmas in a hospital on Christmas Day. And it was sad to be there. But we purposed in our hearts that if we weren't there, we wanted to help those that had to be there be encouraged on Christmas Day. So a lot of kids that may have chronic special needs will be in the hospital on Christmas Day, or can be in the hospital on Christmas Day. And so we provide a network again for families and people to come in and to share some hope and encouragement on Christmas Day at children's hospitals. And it's very simple to go in and to sing carols and deliver some goodies to them. But again, it's the relationships that begin to forge. We also disperse caroling teams to carol at homes of medically fragile kids, families that might be by themselves on Christmas Day. And again, encourage others to bring, as they're assigned families, to bring other people with them on Christmas Day to be an encouragement. We've had the blessing of being in partnership here in Central Florida with Walgreens, and this Christmas we'll have 130 Walgreens collecting toys for us, as well as a lot of other companies and individual groups from our community. And we opened up a toy store, and last year, by God's grace, we helped over 3,300 kids have Christmas, where families could come shop for free and be able to get toys for their kids for Christmas, and we babysat the kids while they shopped and wrapped their presents and practically help them. Now, while you may not be able to open up a toy store, something you can practically do is perhaps adopt a family for Christmas, a family that has special needs, and be an added blessing to them. Provide gift cards for them, provide toys for them, provide goodies for them. Just be a blessing to them. And why stop at Christmas time? Christmas time, our hearts tend to be open to want to reach out, but the same care groups or the same Sunday school classes or the same families could also think about adopting a family that has special needs and purpose in our hearts and say, you know what, we're going to build a relationship with this family, and throughout the year we're going to remember them and include them on their birthdays, on their special other special occasions that might be out there, on milestones that this family might have. We're going to remember them and reach out. And what a great way to build relationships with families like that. So you may be thinking out about other programs that your church might have or other ways to include family. So the biggest thing is to know the family so that you know what their needs are, and to be intentional to reach out, and be even intentional to the point of including them in the everyday life of your church. Now, some things that we may take for granted can be difficult for families, whether that's parking on a Sunday morning, providing closer parking, or providing assistance as families come in, providing buddies on Sunday morning to make it easier for children to get around and to be a part of morning activities. And though this session is not talking about a Sunday morning ministry, there's quite an opportunity to get equipped to be able to care about the spiritual needs of friends impacted by disability. But that's another workshop. But for right now, I just want to challenge you to think about, meeting practical needs, of the family as you engage in relationship to them. That may involve taking a meal, knowing them well enough to know when they're going through a hard time, or when mom is worn out from just the extra care that might be involved in caring for a child that has a disability, or a loved one. It could be an adult that has a disability, an aging parent, anything like that. But taking a meal just randomly, that they don't even have to be in a hospital to do that. Perhaps offering to pick up groceries, or offering to mow the lawn, or help with some kind of household chore that we all have time challenges, but the families impacted by disability often have stress factors that are 2 to 3 times higher, or have a lot more chores to do to take care of their loved one that may have a disability. So we can kind of lend a hand and be a friend, be a buddy, and lend a hand, and try and make a difference in those ways. Perhaps you can surprise a family with a gift card, or send or help with siblings. Oftentimes maybe siblings who don't have the disability sometimes can't participate in activities because their brother or sister can't get out of the house, so that the mom and dad can't get out of the house, and therefore they're not able to go out. So what about thinking about the sibling and ways to make sure that they can participate in events that are happening, but also not to exclude the person that might have the special need. How many times have I heard from parents that they just wish their child would be invited to the birthday party or special event that somebody might be hosting, and are oftentimes left out? What a great opportunity we have to meet their practical needs like that. Find ways to take care of the caregiver. Oftentimes caregivers are so good at what they do, at loving their children, loving their loved ones that may have a disability, that they don't take care of themselves, or sometimes it might be difficult for them to foster friendships in their lives because they're so busy taking care of others. But bringing a pizza over on a Friday night and enjoying a game night with the family, what a blessing that would be, and what an opportunity to begin to engage in friendship and in meaningful relationship with somebody like that. Find out what the needs are. But in order to find out what the needs are, you have to pick up the phone. You have to make that first step of building that relationship. But as you do, I can tell you that your life will forever be blessed and impacted in ways that you never believed. Build a relationship. We talk about building that relationship as in any relationship that we have in our lives. Being a friend, we have to be consistent with being a friend. If you just pick up a phone once a year and make a phone call and see how somebody's doing, your friendship is only going to be so deep. So be consistent as you decide to be intentional to build a friendship. Be consistent in building that relationship. Remember the special days that are out there. Celebrate the milestones that maybe nobody else is celebrating. include these families in your fun activities. If you're having a barbecue, think about inviting the family over for a barbecue, and again, being involved in the life of your family. Or if you're in your church, if you're having an activity, how can you make the provisions for them to be a part? Schedule a play date, and that doesn't take a lot if you're going to the park to invite somebody to join you and be a part of that. Offer a listening ear. You don't have to have the answers, but just being there, picking up the phone and saying hello, and seeing how can I pray for you. Being a prayer partner. As you pray for somebody, what a difference that makes in how you begin to engage in relationship with that person, and the love in your heart that grows. You can't help but begin to love and to grow with a person as you pray for them and intercede on the Father's behalf. So these are just some ideas. You know, in helping life to be normal and to be fun, and to engage in bridging the gap. It's all about tearing down those barriers. And I just want to encourage you to start somewhere. I've given you a lot of ideas, and I'm hoping that I've encouraged you to think of other ideas. And if you have ideas, I'd love to hear about them so I can tell others and share with them things that might work. But I'm just wanting to encourage you to think out of the box, and to think about ways to engage in relationship, and to be intentional, to build that bridge, and to bridge the gap, and to make a difference. And I think you're going to find out that where you think you're doing something good, and you're wanting to bless somebody, you're going to walk away with such a bigger blessing, because there's so much joy to be found in our friendships with people that are just like us, that might just have a few more challenges, but bridging that gap, and going over and breaking down those barriers will make such a difference. So God bless you as you do that. And following this, I'd like to just allow you to see, if you like, a couple events that we do for Caroling for Kids. Make Them Smile, Buddy Break, and if for some reason they don't follow on here, you're welcome to catch a link at nathanielshope.org. So if we can ever serve you, let us know. God bless you, and have fun. Bye-bye.